Calling the Temecula Planning Commission regular meeting of January 15th to order, and we will begin with a flag salute.
Please join me.
Thank you, Lene. And we will have a swearing-in ceremony. I believe that's next. And we'd like to welcome Mark Watson as our next commissioner and proceed.
Your speaker. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
Got it.
thank you again, Chair Hagel. It's always a pleasure to come in and swear a new commissioner into any of our commissions, but Planning Commission tonight, it's really an honor, and it's always good to see Commissioners Turley Trejo, Watts, and Solis as well. So thank you for having us, and let's go ahead and welcome our newest commissioner, Mark Watson. And so, Mark, if you want to join me.
Thank you.
And go ahead and raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mark Watson,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that you take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of
or
evasion,
purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations,
Thank you so much.
sir.
Yeah, what a pleasure. Thank you.
Here is your
Thank you.
certificate of appointment.
Very nice.
And
Thank
I
you.
believe you have a seat there on the dais.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
If we have one quick moment, could I invite my wife and to take a picture up front with me?
absolutely, absolutely. Here,
Take your time.
Thank you. I've got,
Our agenda is only 4 or 5 hours long. So.
thank you so much to the commission and city staff. I've got with me tonight my lovely wife, Holly, of 23 years, and I've got with us, in fact, also the chairman of the Escondido Planning Commission, Mr. Stan Weiler. And we served together on the Planning Commission until I moved to Temecula, but he's been a friend and mentor ever since.
Good, welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, Denise. Thanks, Denise.
You don't need to hurry.
Don't cover your name. There we go. And if you'd like, you can step in the back and go to the logo there. Yeah, that'd be nice. You all?
You make your TikTok video? So.
You want to go behind there, or you're good? You're good right there, actually. That's nice. There we go.
Thanks for indulging us.
Facial recognition like that.
Thanks, Randy.
Well, let me be the first to welcome Commissioner Watson, and I think you'll find an interesting journey ahead of you here. So we can do a complete roll call.
Commissioner Hagel,
Here?
Solis,
Here.
Turley Trejo, here, Watson,
Here.
and Watts.
I'm still last here.
All commissioners are present.
Okay, on to public comment. Do we have any public comments?
None.
Good. Not good, but I mean, we actually welcome people to talk here about it. Okay, consent calendar. I do have to read this. We should pre-record this. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered to be routine, and all will be enacted by one vote. There will be no discussion on these items unless members of the commission request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. A total of 30 minutes is provided for members of the public to address the commission on items that appear on the consent calendar. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Public comments may be made in person at the meeting by submitting a speaker card to the commission secretary. Speaker cards will be called in the order received. Still images may be displayed on the projector. All other audio and visual use is prohibited. Public comments may also be submitted by email for inclusion into the record. Email comments must be received prior to 6 p.m. and submitted to planningcommission@temeculaca.gov. All public participation is governed by council policy regarding public participation at meetings, adopted by resolution number 2021-54. We have our minutes as the only item on here. And do I have a
I move the
moval
minutes.
for approval?
I second.
Did you-
Second.
You second? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a first by Turley Trejo and a second by Solis. And do we have a vote here? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we really have, it's four yes. and-
Just for the record, so we have 4 in favor,
Right.
and then Commissioner Watson is going to be abstaining, so he
He's
didn't
abstaining,
participate.
okay.
Yes.
So we'll go on to our agenda, and the first item of business is select a new chair and vice chair for 2025. And before we do that, I'd just like to say to Commissioner Turley Trejo, congratulations on getting your 2 diamonds. There were 10 years service pinned last night, and I'm sure it's been an interesting journey of that 10 years, and all been on the Planning Commission. So.
They have all been on the planning commission. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years. Sometimes it seems like 20, but sometimes it seems like 5. So, yeah, thank you.
Well, I think you've gotten 20 years' worth of experience in that 10
Yeah,
years.
for sure.
Okay, so we'll start with the chair, and I would like to recommend Commissioner Turley Trejo as chair for the year 2025.
Second?
So, any other comments? Any other? Okay, we shall have a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 So that's 5-0, and I'm going to ask our new chair to make a recommendation for vice chair.
And I would like to nominate Gary Watts as vice chair.
Any discussion?
Second?
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're done.
All right.
That was easy. So we do have a public hearing tonight.
Before we move on, I'd just like to say, Commissioner Hagel, thank you for being the chair this last year. We worked on a lot of big projects, and you did a great job running the meetings and representing the Planning Commission out in the community and to the City Council monthly with the report. So great job. I do have your plaque
Thank
with
you.
the gavel.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We switch. I guess we switch.
You want to switch here?
Well, she's telling me I need to switch.
Okay, all right, we'll switch here. Give us a second here. I just wanted to say my lovely wife Dana is in the audience, and I think her first meeting that she's been to for the Planning Commission. right?
I know. Well, I want to be the second to say thank you to Bob also. We've had some difficult hearings this year, and you've been very professional in how you've handled them, and I know you've done your homework, and I've had full confidence in you and leading our commission, and I do feel like this is a very important commission, and we make decisions that don't need to go to city council, and that's a big deal. We're the only commission that does that, and so I take this job very seriously, and I'm honored to be able to be the chair for 2025, but I just wanted to thank you and appreciate all that you've done and extra effort that you've made this year to help us make the decisions that we need to make.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. So we will go on to the public hearing. Any person may submit written comments to the commission before a public hearing or may appear and be heard in support of or in opposition to the approval of the projects at the time of the hearing. If you challenge any of the projects in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing or in written correspondence delivered to the commission secretary at or prior to the public hearing. For public hearings, each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Public comments may be made in person at the meeting by submitting a speaker card to the commission secretary or by submitting an email to be included into the record. Email comments must be submitted to planningcommission@temeculaca.gov. Email comments on all matters, including those not on the agenda, must be received prior to the time the item is called for public comments. Any person dissatisfied with the decision of the commission may file an appeal of the commission's decision. Said appeal must be filed within 15 calendar days after service of written notice of the decision. The appeal must be filed on the appropriate Community Development Department form and be accompanied by the appropriate filing fee. All public participation is governed by the council policy regarding public participation at meetings adopted by resolution number 2021-54. And number 3, our item is a long-range planning project number LR24-0435, amending Title 17 of the Temecula Municipal Code that would allow for off-site wayfinding signs within the Temecula Auto Mall. And Mark, you have our report?
Good evening, Honorable Chair and Commissioners. Yes, I do. As mentioned, this is a Title 17 amendment for the purpose of implementing auto mall wayfinding signage, and it is a long-range project number LR240435. Forgive me, Mike's a little sensitive. The Temecula Municipal Code was originally adopted by the City Council in 1990. Since its adoption, the City Council has periodically made amendments to various sections of the code to improve its clarity, improve processes, and implement various components of the general plan. The Planning Commission's role, this proposed ordinance would amend Title 17 zoning of the Temecula Municipal Code. The Planning Commission is required, per Government Code Section 65800, to review and make recommendations to the City Council regarding zoning regulations and amendments to Title 17 of the Temecula Municipal Code. Okay, a little bit about why we're here. There have been some ongoing concerns and discussions with the absence of a comprehensive wayfinding program for the Temecula Auto Mall. Lack of dealer-specific directional signage has caused confusion and frustration for customers and dealers alike. Pretty much people are getting lost and can't find the respective dealerships they're looking for. So a little look at the auto mall and its impact on Temecula. The auto mall overall generates roughly 30% of all city sales tax. Additionally, they are a substantial employer, and they also provide youth externship programs, roughly 10 or more a year. And discussing the proposed ordinance itself, this would amend Section 17.28.050 exempt signs to allow for off-premise wayfinding signs exclusively within the auto mall. The amendments are being made to implement the direction from City Council related to wayfinding signage at the Temecula Auto Mall. And this wayfinding signs will be within the median, the existing right-of-way. And a bit about the design. This proposed ordinance does not authorize, propose the construction or installation of any specific signage. However, staff feels it appropriate to share the design selected by the City Council Infrastructure Beautification Subcommittee. So, kind of a rough overview. There's going to be 5 proposed signs. They're going to be roughly 12 feet in height, 6 feet in width, about 3 feet in depth. They will be solar powered with uplighting on the logo and the respective dealers. There will be a total of 3 single-sided signs and then 2 double-sided. Where we've been with this ordinance, the City Council Infrastructure Beautification Subcommittee with Council Member Stewart and Alexander reviewed this project on June 11th of 2024. And then this item was taken to the Planning Commission Municipal Code Maintenance Subcommittee on November 20th of this year with Commissioners Hagel and former Commissioner Ruiz. Okay. And then where we're going, Planning Commission, well, this is before you this evening, obviously, and then on February 11th, we'll be taking this to City Council. Okay. CEQA determination, staff has determined that this ordinance is exempt from the requirements of the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15061B3, the common sense exemption. Okay. Staff's recommendation would be to adopt the Planning Commission resolution recommending the City Council adopt the ordinance. This concludes my presentation. Myself and Economic Development is available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, we will have questions for staff right now. We'll start on, are you ready, Fernando? I see you writing. I don't want to start with Mark. He's brand new. You ready? Okay.
So these design, are they going to be located in certain intersections, or is it like, where will these signs
Yes,
occur?
Public Works has gone out to the locations and they analyzed, distance and site and found there's actually, I think it's 4 locations. So there's really 4 signs. Gets confusing because one of the signs is double-sided, but they have a specific place in the median where they will be useful and also okay to see both ways.
And that's like the real design of how it's gonna look? Or
So
it's
this
like,
is very,
Oh.
I think one of our planners might have put this, okay, very good. Very nice together. So these are conceptual
Okay.
plans, very conceptual. When it
Okay.
comes to the finalization of the design and actually even the materials, these are going to be city-owned, and the city sets the highest standards that we should reflect in our own signs that we require of our own developers, and they will be nicely done and owned by the city, maintained by Public Works. Ron, if you have any other thoughts to provide on that, but this is a conceptual design, and actually, I thought there was another, is there another, probably a little, just with the sign alone from the, that one might be good. This is the largest one and double-sided, but it will have stone at the bottom, and the signs will be pointing to the areas that they will need to be.
Yeah, if I could, so we've gone out and looked at various locations within the right-of-way because, anytime you put signage in the medians, you have to look at, accident data, you have to look at site distance, you have to look at all the things that go into it. What we did is we wanted to mimic kind of the entry monuments that you see on Winchester Road as well as South 79, Temecula Parkway. If you've ever noticed, you have those monuments that say, "Welcome to the City of Temecula." They are much shorter, but when we were engaging with the sign manufacturer, we wanted to kind of mimic that look and not be too far and distant from, we didn't want it to be, modern and looking different and everything. We wanted to kind of keep with the motif of what Temecula does in the right-of-way. And so then we looked at, okay, which medians are accessible for electricity, which ones are going to have to be solar, how can we get in here to actually construct it, because part of this is going to be constructed by city crews. So all in all, what you see before you is a very, very conceptual design of, hey, we're just kind of showing you that it's going to have a base that looks like the monuments, the entry monuments we already have. It's going to have dealership logos. However, we have not entered any kind of final design yet. We have not gone any further than at least putting this together so that the city attorney could look at this and approve it for this ordinance change, because it's very specific what you can do in the public right-of-way as far as advertising businesses. And so then we took it to the infrastructure subcommittee and infrastructure beautification subcommittee, and that committee kind of approved us moving forward with this ordinance. But once we kick off a final design, which will be done out of the Public Works Department, once we kick that off, we'll be able to get some real material boards, get some real design, and then probably bring it back. I'll talk to Matt Peters about, do we bring it to a PC subcommittee, and Luke I'm sure will weigh in, or are we going to bring this back to the Infrastructure Beautification Committee? We don't know that yet, but I'm sure that this commission will have an opportunity to, because it is traffic related, because there's going to be traffic in these public right-of-ways, to kind of comment on where we're going. But it's very, very conceptual at this point.
Okay.
We just wanted to get something to at least get the ordinance on the books.
Right, okay. Did we want to, or did the dealerships know about this? Were they informed, or?
Yeah, Betsy can handle that one, but there was a meeting with the dealerships.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and they're very excited. They've actually waited a few years. This came upon us actually because if you notice the DLR drive that goes outside of Yanez, that's where people get lost looking for Lexus, and believe it or not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it all came about. But yes, we met with the dealers. They're very happy that this is being
Well, even I
being
get lost to
presented.
go to
And I'm
Lexus.
very grateful for the questions, because Planning Commission is so important, and you set the stage for what will be developed and what we look at aesthetically.
Thank
It's
you.
everything.
Okay, that's it. Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Yeah, speaking of the housing development signs that we have throughout the city directing people, those are good. Those are classy, and I'm glad you clarified this one, because I was getting ready to voice some displeasure. But no, it sounds great, and as long as we keep it within the motif and the theme of the rest of the city, I think we're on the right track.
Right. Thank you.
Question?
Yeah, I got a question and a comment. So the city will manage the signage in the future as well, so a dealer can't put up their own,
Oh, no.
no, okay.
And actually, our city attorney was very clear, no logos will go on these, just their letters, the
Right.
name, right? Marcella, so,
And all being the same font,
all
same
the
size,
same,
everything,
everybody's
yeah.
fair. They will notice if one gets more signage than another.
Just a
Could I-
question, yeah, go ahead.
On that one?
Sure.
Well, never mind, I'll
Okay. Just a question about location. I don't know if there's any trees in the median and whether, that was considered or not. And, just one thing is making sure that the signs always stay visible, that there's no, trees or other
Yeah,
bushes or something.
we'll have to keep them visible, and I think there is one tree that needs to come out, but as you recall from the tree ordinance, we'll make sure that's put somewhere else.
Two, right? Two trees
Two,
put somewhere
there'll be
else.
restitution. So we'll move it.
Thank you.
Lonnie,
Yes.
I wanted to quickly ask our attorney, just curious, why not the logos?
So this is truly a wayfinding sign and not like advertisement that the city is going to be putting up for these dealers. So the idea is so that people can find their way, not get lost. So it's just the names. We didn't want to open it up so that it's now commercial speech happening on city-owned property within, that city's maintaining.
Including the placement of the signs will be in order of as you see them, the dealerships. So there won't be any favoritism of where they're at on the sign, it's who's next.
So the Ws will be at the end again.
No. All location-based.
Location.
Okay, well, I'm just curious, because they're equivalent really in my mind, and people recognize the symbols, that's all. I just curious why. I understand the reasoning behind that, so, Thank you.
I have one more question.
Okay, good
Is
enough.
there, these are for medians, right? Is there a possibility for signs also going up on the corners? Like on the important corners, like on the, what is it? This, like, the corners, like on the southbound corners where it could be maybe instead of one big, long one, maybe they can have maybe two cornered ones, maybe smaller?
I don't think I think we analyzed that, and I think it's going to end up still staying in the median for
Yeah.
all 4 of these signs to keep
Okay.
it fair.
Yeah,
No.
it really was about the amount of right-of-way that we could possibly get. And sometimes at those corners, people like to build right up to the right-of-way line. Very difficult to put a sign in there on a corner. So we just decided the medians would be the best place.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you have any questions, Mark?
In keeping with my freshman status, I'll keep it brief, but just a question or a confirmation. So city owns it, works, maintains it, and then, did I read that right, Mark, that the dealers will subsidize it or fund it?
Yes,
That is.
it will
okay.
be funded by the dealers.
Well, to the extent that it addresses points 1, 2, and 3, it sure seems like a good idea. And I'm a subscriber to the notion that the first rule of sales is to make it easy to buy. And it seems like this solves that problem. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a matter of whether or not there was going to be, I know when they approached us about putting the wayfinding signage, which is normally not utilized in the right-of-way, it's, you know, the thought was that this would help their attractiveness, sales, and this and that by having somebody to be able to see off Yanez, you know, because if you do go over there, we have a DLR drive, you know, and then we have Motor Car Parkway, but we really don't have anything that really signifies where each dealership is in location, and so therefore, that was why the request was made that can we have something that directs people left or right into certain dealerships and such, and so that's why it was chosen in the manner that it was, but then it had to go to the city attorney because, as our city attorney mentioned, cannot have advertisement, it must be wayfinding, helping you get your way around, not showing you, hey, you know, this is a logo for Cadillac or Lexus or whatever.
You good? Everybody good? Questions? Yeah.
Yeah. They can always change it at the council. Okay. Sorry, we were just trying to clarify an issue in the ordinance. I think,
Do you want me to?
I think we leave it, well, I think what my recommendation would be,
Yeah.
leave the language now, and if we need
Okay.
to do anything else, we can do it at the council level if necessary.
Sounds good.
And it deals with the issue of the subsidy of the cost, whether it is going to in fact be city or dealership, but that doesn't deal with the,
The amendment,
that, exactly,
the amendment itself.
Exactly.
No.
Okay.
Right.
So we'll handle that separately and address it at the
Okay.
council.
All right, any other questions for staff at this time? I think I asked my questions of you, and one thing I asked was about maintenance, and also, you know, as you go into other downtowns, I know that's not actually downtown, but I've seen some signs run, so this is kind of like a question suggestion. I've seen signs that are not weathered, right? The weather is, you know, the weather kills everything. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I love the weather, and I love that it's sunny, but the weather is hard on things, and the sun and everything. And so signs that I've seen that are not weathered they're cutouts, right? So it's not like a sign that says something that's gonna fade. It's a cutout of that. And so you see it, you can see it very well, but it's a silhouette of that name.
Yeah.
And so it's so easy to maintain, from what I've seen, what I know, and I don't know a lot. But, so that was just a question that I had of Mark on who was gonna be maintaining it, and if we could do something that didn't need to be fully maintained like that, and had to be replaced over and over again. Because I see that happening a lot with signs. So that was a comment and question.
Yeah, this particular company that we've been working with has multiple options that we could look at, which would be the cutout, like you're mentioning, kind of like you're making a shadow.
Yes.
And then there's other options that are supposed to be a weatherproof option. When the time comes, we're gonna kind of test out and bring it back to our Public Works Department and see which one's gonna be the best for maintenance. And it doesn't mean that we're not gonna switch it out later, but the nice thing about these signs is that they're easily slip in, slip out, replaceable. So we'll try to find the one that has the least
Okay.
amount of maintenance
Okay.
and,
Sounds
you know,
great.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, any other questions for staff? No? Okay, so I am going to open the public hearing, and do we have any public comments?
We have none.
We have none. And do we have anything else that wants to be said from our economic development, since you're the person?
No, I'd just like to thank Maricela for helping us along and Mark Collins for bringing this forward. It might seem simple, but it really isn't. So thank you for your hard work on this.
Okay. Do we have any other questions at this time in the public hearing before I close it? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing, and we'll have any discussion before a motion. Anybody have anything they want to say?
Sounds like a great idea. And like you said, weathering the sign to be maybe a higher quality type of sign will help out. That's really all, my only comment.
Okay. Gary, anything? Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so do I have a motion?
I'd like to be the person who moves this along.
Okay. We have a motion from Bob
I second.
and a second by Fernando. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Awesome. Okay. Do we have any commissioner reports at this time? I'll start. Fernando, you get to start tonight.
No report.
Okay. Gary?
I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Bob for your role as chair. You did a good job and very professional, and the Planning Commission doesn't get a lot of hoopla around, but we all know it's great work. So anyhow, nice job. Thank you.
All right. Bob?
Yeah, my wife and I went to the Grape Drop, and there was a lot of people there. I think the drone show really attracted a lot of people. And I thought what was kind of funny was, everybody was yelling and screaming with the drones because it was such a spectacular thing. I don't think there was anybody that saw the grapes drop. Everybody was watching the drone show, and it was really neat. I mean, I've seen lots of videos of them before, but when you see it in person, it really is a cool thing to watch. And I know there was some discussion last night in City Council about possibly doing a combination drone fireworks show for July 4th. And I think the comment was made, particularly regarding all the fires, that down the road we may quickly move more towards drones than fireworks. And hopefully we have the public who does the same thing and stops shooting off fireworks on July 4th. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because I thought that was a really great event. It was really cool.
Anything you want to say, Mark?
Only briefly.
Okay.
I guess just to say, to express my thanks and gratitude to my fellow commissioners for their warm welcome tonight, and to thank Matt Peters and his shop for the especially warm welcome and tour you gave me. It was incredibly thoughtful, and what a warm welcome. I'm grateful for that. It's a privilege and an honor to be here, and I look forward to serving with you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I was also able to go with my husband to the New Year's Eve. I drug him out. He wasn't necessarily wanting to leave. Got to do something on New Year's Eve. But yeah, there were a lot of people, and I actually talked to Erica Russo right before they started doing because I had no idea what that was going to look like, right? And she told me that Aaron really wanted it by the tower, but so they get all set up in that, the empty lot where the hotel may or may not be built someday. That lot is where they were all set up. So they have to be somewhere close, so if they have to come down, anyway, they have to have a getaway. Anyway, it's pretty interesting, but it was really worth seeing. So if you haven't seen it, go next year because, yeah, it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. And way better than watching the grapes drop, anyway. So I appreciate TCSD and all the work they did putting that together. And the timing is amazing, right? Because the drones actually did the countdown in the sky. That had to be exact to the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would be so stressed out if I was in charge of the drones. So anyway, it was really cool. It was fun to take pictures of it and send it to our kids. And this is what we do in Temecula. What are you guys doing? Anyway, so thank you to TCSD. All right, Community Development Director report.
A few items tonight. First of all, Happy New Year. I look forward to working with all of you in 2025. We have a lot of projects that we anticipate coming forward, but I guess the biggest one is we're going to be doing and kicking off a comprehensive update to the general plan this year. So we expect that to be a 2 to 3 year project, and you should see something in early spring, and then advertisements for meetings and public outreach and the potential for a general plan advisory committee in summer, but more to come on that. Want to say welcome to Mark Watson, the new commissioner, and in addition to our city attorney and staff at every meeting, we will have representation from Public Works, and tonight we have our building official here, Andy Krogh, so I just wanted to point that out, the additional staff. Our next meeting on February 5th is canceled, but on the 19th, wanted to get a little bit of feedback from you regarding a training with the city attorney. We'd like to do a planning commission training on the Brown Act and due process and public meeting procedures, just kind of a reset for the new year, and targeting the 19th, and we'd like to do that from 4 to 5 as a special meeting, and then break for dinner, and then come back for the planning commission meeting in here. So the special meeting would be from 4 to 5 in the Great Oak. So I see a lot of head nodding, just wondering if we should advertise that, if that's gonna work for the commissioners.
That should work.
Gary's checking his calendar.
Just putting it in there.
Okay, fantastic. We'll advertise for that. Let's see. And then finally, the Planning Commissioners Academy was last year in Long Beach. This year it is in Santa Rosa, March 5th through the 7th. And that training is available to the Planning Commission, and the city has budget for that. So I just want to get that on your radar. Let us know if you're interested.
What days of the week are those?
I think it's Thursday through Friday, or Wednesday through Friday.
Wednesday through Friday, okay. Oh, yeah, because February 5th and March 5th are on the same day.
There you go.
Unless it's leap year.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Oh.
So that would be our planning commission meeting, actually, night.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That would be our planning commission meeting night, our normal night.
What date?
Oh, because it's the first Wednesday. Thank you for bringing that up. Well, we'll look at the scheduling and we'll talk more on the 19th. But if you could, between now and then, let me know if you're interested.
Can you send us some information on that?
Yeah,
Which one is it?
the Planning Commissioner Academy.
Oh, okay, yes. I thought you were talking about the library dedication on February 5th. The meeting, the PC meeting will be canceled, but you can RSVP with TCSD for the library dedication.
Thanks, Denise. That's all I have tonight.
Okay, I have something actually, Matt. We usually do kind of a field trip, right? And I think actually, especially for Mark, that would be a good thing to, I think it's always really valuable for us to be able to drive around.
It's on our radar. Yeah. We actually talked about it. We're targeting spring.
Okay.
A lot of new projects going up, a lot of multi-family, a lot of good stuff to go and visit, so we'll do that in spring,
Okay, yeah, I think that's,
before it gets too
you
hot.
guys think that's valuable? Yeah, okay. Are we keeping you awake, Fernando? Okay, all right, so thank you. That would be great. All right, Public Works, Mr. Ron.
So from Public Works, been quite a bit since the last time we saw you guys. So Valerie's here so she can answer questions about Somers, Altair. I'll give you just a rundown on the CIP stuff. So for the French Valley Interchange Phase 2, as you know, we had the shutdown of the northbound on-ramp, the slip ramp that comes from like Starbucks if you're going Winchester West. And that went into effect Sunday night. So far so good. We have not had too much complaint, and the freeway is looking good. It's moving well, and so everybody seems to be happy with it. Traffic's going where it needs to go. It's not to say it's going to be perfect for the next 2 months, but for right now, it's going very, very well. We have not had any complaints on that closure.
Is it still just closed at night, totally? But
No,
there's one lane.
it's closed 24/7.
But there's one lane open, right? It's just that entry onto the freeway is not open, correct?
Correct. The entry onto the freeway is not open, but you can go over the bridge.
Yeah.
So if you're heading westbound on Winchester, coming from Yanez, you can go over the bridge and then go up Jefferson, or you could go up Yanez before that. But it is closed completely, 24/7. And then after that's done and that portion is reopened, the loop-on is going to be closed for a month. So northbound, if you're heading eastbound on Winchester and you need to get on the northbound 15, that will be closed in about a month's time. So everything seems to be going good so far.
Don't go on Winchester.
Don't go on Winchester.
Yeah.
Find another route. And then besides that, we had an incident tonight, and your neighbors may ask you what's going on out at Nicholas. You know, we have the detour for Medusa, but there was a Edison vault that exploded at the corner of Medusa and Nicholas. And so Nicholas had to be rerouted. So people are actually being detoured. If you are heading eastbound on Nicholas, you're being detoured through Joseph, the Serafina connection, all the way back up to Myriad Hot Springs and around. It's a very arduous detour. That's not a good detour, but it's all we have right now. Due to all the construction that's going on there, it's not ideal to have that happen right now, but it did happen tonight. So most likely you will see it either on whatever social media or your neighbors, or it could even be on NBC Channel 4 because they're out here. So it was a pretty significant, explosion of a vault that had either built up gas or something, and it blew the lid off. And so we've had to detour people around that area. So you will probably have people talking about it. So I wanted to make sure you knew about it. And then lastly, we had the community meeting for the Jed Smith Roundabout, and we'll bring that at another time when I can talk to Matt about kind of just giving you guys an overview of it. But not that it's a planning item, but it is significant for our area in Los Ranchitos, and it's a roundabout that's going in. The community meeting went very well, but we're moving on to the next portion of design. So
That'll be awesome.
those are our Public Works updates, unless you guys have questions.
Any questions for Ron? No? All right. Okay, well, woohoo. All right, so our next meeting will be on February 19th. You have something? I just did that. Okay.
Just a question about Altair. When is the actual building construction going to start?
The actual construction of.
Right now, I know
models,
they're moving dirt like
Yeah, they're moving
crazy.
dirt. We're still going through a lot of the plans, so we can't say exactly when, but I mean, we're just pushing through a lot of plan review right now, so I don't know, it may be a year or so.
I was going to say, it's not likely to be this year then?
No,
Yeah,
there's a lot of things they need to work out just throughout the whole site, so
Okay.
we're reviewing plans like crazy.
Right.
So.
Okay, because I've been asked, why there's been dirt for like 2 years, and I said, well, I think you're going to see dirt for a lot longer, so.
Yeah, they're just working out everything. There's a lot of elements that are related to one another on that site, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, if Adam is watching, we miss you, Adam. Thanks for serving, and we welcome Mark. So here we go, 2025, woohoo. We'll see you on February 19th. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.